Well, folks, that is another episode of Daredevil Born Again in the books. Um, yeah, pretty decent episode.
Yeah.
Building on, essentially Mayor Fists in his ego trip that he is pretty much back on, especially at the conclusion of season one. You know, Poindexter, aka Bullseye, he has his own game that he's running, his own targets. Doesn't really care about vigilantes. He's, once again, he was betrayed, and now he's literally out for his own vengeance. It just so happens that his path converges with Daredevil, aka Matt. Gave him some assistance to keep his identity from being revealed. So that was like a maybe a one-time deal. At the moment, we'll see how they circle back to each other. Vanessa and Heather, pretty much growing a little bit closer. Um, this episode we didn't really get any PTSD for Heather. Though,
I think her language is very coded PTSD
well,
though. Her
yes,
language is very coded
yeah,
PTSD.
yeah. We didn't get like any of the the moving images or like even
Mm-hmm.
saying, "Don't you feel that chill over your spine?"
Mm-hmm.
As Vanessa was looking outside the window, wondering if Bullseye is around the corner, which he was. He was literally. I mean, hey, it's not that Bullseye couldn't take out Vanessa right then and there as well. So it must be some bigger reason for why he's doing what he's currently doing. When it comes to the biggest point of this episode was dealing with our why do I forget her name? But our girl who I believe will be the next White Tiger. Um, and just essentially the overreach of the task force, literally saying that, hey, you touched me. Oh, that's assault. I mean, what more way for it to be mirrored in, real world applications? Even though this is fiction, it's it's a very stark resemblance, as we'll say, to the real world, especially for how police brutality has always historically been. And then when you have this type of a task force, everything going on with ICE, everything like it's very
Yeah.
on the nose. With these certain things, and I mean, look, I don't know what the discourse is with other people who are watching Daredevil. But we know what the we'll call them the minority of the loud minority would be like, oh man, it's not political or anything like that. It's just something that we just see constantly in all the other medias that we watch. It is funny because when things aren't actually political, and they aren't, right? But when things are just like right there in your face, and then you're gonna just get somebody to tell you that, yeah, man, that's not political. It's just fiction, man. It's not bigger than that. Or in my fist voice, you see, there's nothing
Yep.
political about this at all. But
Right.
you're just gonna get some stuff like that. Just think that was very on the nose, and I can see more and more as episodes build on. Back to White Tiger. I just think that Homegirl is too young. The actress that would eventually like that she shares the name with the character in the comics that would be White Tiger. It's just that the actress, is looks very young, and most likely is very young if they're like the way that they've stated her, like her age and whatnot. So not sure how they're gonna go about it. I would be very surprised if they do, just given the age of the character, even though they're supposed to be in the future, the White Tiger. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah. I think
yeah,
with her, I think it's a couple things here about that. The MCU isn't gonna hire older actors anymore, considering how long they're taking to get any young Avengers or young vigil heroes out, any movement on that stuff. I mean, Hawkeye, America Chavez, Patriot, um, Wiccan, we're gonna get Speed in Vision Quest, but all these and this chick, Scott Lang's daughter from Ant-Man, Cassie. Um, it's been years, and these actors are well into their adulthood. So I believe with her, they're trying to course correct or just what MCU does anyway. We age down the characters so that we can contract them out for longer.
Mm-hmm.
And I that's what it feels like is happening with her. But I think there's a storyline here happening where it really is the effect that that this martial law police state is having on the youth, especially the youth of color, black and brown folks in New York, and their need to rebel, to uprise, to fight against oppression and to fight back.
Mm-hmm.
And she says it on her the walk with her aunt, like, and she says it when she meets this chick in the law office, like, these days it's hard to be a hero, and they're just pushing her in a way where she can no longer fight against not wanting to do something, to
Yeah.
wanting to do more, to take up the mantle of her uncle. So it is going to be like, I think what it's going to be like, we're going to integrate like a teen POV of how someone who has the ability, either even without, I think that's also with BB, right? Even without superpowers or without a magic talisman or a ring or, spidey sense, can fight back, right? But when you have the option of picking up the superpowered object, you pick it
Yeah.
up and you do the damn thing. And it's going to be hard to watch because it's like, damn, she's a kid. She shouldn't have to do this. But as we
Mm-hmm.
know, a lot of time it is the kids meet like getting up and doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of the time, not always.
Yeah.
As we see with like the boys that she meets in the bodega, some kids are okay with causing added harm and trouble and disturbance. Like, bro, to the three of them, it's like there's so much other bullshit going on. Why are you trying to steal? Why are you
Yeah.
trying to steal alcohol? Why are you trying to sell alcohol? There's so much other bullshit going on. Why are you trying to like just fucking go home? Just fucking go home. And it's like it's those actions for when you want to, cause a little disruption that cause a bigger disruption. I mean, it's not like they knew that the task force was out there on the street, but you know that the task force is around. It's,
I think it's
if you're
just
not
people like that don't even care, even in real life.
there.
Yeah.
No, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right. I've run into enough people who really don't fucking care who's
Mm-hmm.
around or what mayhem they cause until they're face to face with someone who's ready to push back. And that's what the bodega owner was just like, I'm so sick of them. I'm so sick of this shit. And it's like, it seems like that they've been doing it for a while. And it's like, you can't get mad at him for wanting to protect himself when you guys are, fucking messing with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then look, you guys messing with him, got someone else in trouble, got someone else caught up in this stuff who was trying to protect you and de escalate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not helping. But, I mean, but that's the juxtaposition, right? Someone like this chick, this young girl who is taking influence from her uncle, who says it point blank. She's like, no, he had to because we have to protect our community, we have to protect our neighborhood. The people that are supposed to protect us aren't protecting us. Cops, the task force. And then the people that are protecting us, they're hunting down, and I mean, look, my uncle, he was shot in the street for doing the damn thing, right? He was executed. So, having her and then having it be these boys who are causing trouble, though they may view it as harmless, it's never harmless. It's never harmless. Um, yeah, it's just, or what can be viewed as a harmless crime escalates into a major crime, right? Or a major incident. And when it comes to watching her aunt, her tia, get taken, it is very, I mean, we know that the police were exercising their power and overextending and abusing their power constantly. We know about stop and frisk in New York. We just know how it is when you're raised in our communities. When you look, you know what it is.
Yeah.
And it's still going on now. We just have the adage of ICE doing it too, but without absolutely no oversight, right? The fear of oversight. Like all she did was touch him, and it's just like, oh, that's assault. Like, bro, what are you even talking about? But they'll
Yeah.
use any excuse, especially if you're black and brown. They'll use any excuse to lock you up and throw you away to make an example of you, right? And like for them, for that task force guy to like barge in, I could end like if he sees the gun in the window,
Yeah.
maybe some bullshit's going on, but like he definitely 1000% escalated the situation even more. And that's what ICE does. That's what police do. They escalate. They don't de-escalate. They cause more harm, and they're meant to be protecting us. Um, yeah, protect and serve my ass. But then, to have the good cops who are like Cherry, who's he used to be a cop, now he's a detective or whatever, and then the cops that are like hiding him away, and the at the woman at the end who's like, yeah, resist rebel. It's like, bro, you're a cop though.
Yeah.
You're a cop. You're also part of the problem. Like, it's just very sometimes I think I when watching stuff like this that is definitely social, political, and current commentary, sometimes when you have a cop go, well, yeah, we're fighting again. It's just like, okay, but that's you're part of the problem, bro. It's not like a hard pill to swallow. It's a pill that you're never gonna get me to swallow. Like it's just not happening. Um, I mean, and I say that as someone who's a fan of like Charlie's Angels, right? But they're, detectives. They were cops and now they're detectives. So it's like it's very interesting how media wants us to try to both sides it. Like if there are good vigilantes and bad vigilantes, and there are good superheroes and bad superheroes, there are good cops and bad cops. We were just talking about this with One Piece live
Mm-hmm.
action, like with Kobe
Good Marines,
and
bad
his,
Marines.
yeah,
Yeah.
there are good Marines and bad Marines, but bro, you're a part of the system. You're a cog in the machine. Like unless you're actually thwarting and a spy for people who are trying to, like break down the Marines, you're part of the problem. You're just part of the problem. So it's just like it's very interesting to watch this stuff when there's a very blatant on the nose like look at what's happening in your life. We're gonna show you that it's also happening in our shows, that we see what's happening and we're gonna talk about it. Yeah, you know, I think this is a good episode. A lot of hard-hitting moments. Vanessa and Heather talking and like, Heather continuing with her very propagandized speech against vigilantes. But when you're in a room full of rich people, all the rich people care about is making sure that their funds are up. It doesn't matter what you're saying, but can you help me make sure that the vigilantes, the good guys, or whoever aren't trying to rob my house?
Mm-hmm.
How much money can I give you to make sure I'm safe? Um, but yeah, just like she's interesting. I don't want to say she's complex just yet. She's an interesting character, that Heather. Because I think when you put her up against Vanessa, who's like very in her evil bag, and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm a businesswoman and this is the business I run, and it is what it is. I'm not trying to hide it at all, right? I'm not trying to make it something other, you know. Um, Having them together is quite like how much more can Vanessa and Fisk groom Heather into continuing to be an arm of their machine, right? To be an extension of them through her work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because she's already using this and using her own traumas to doctor and to mess with uh, official paperwork for swordsmaster. So who knows how many other vigilantes she's done that to. Um, yeah, it's quite fascinating. Someone who is supposed to be in a position of help, right? She's a psychiatrist or a therapist or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She has the job description that's meant to help, but her own biases and her own pains are dictating the level of harm that she's causing to other people, and then having the backing of people of powerful people who are like, well, you helped us, right? You see, your work has value, and our values align. So what can you do? What can we do for you that you could do, and what can you do for us? And there's a lot of people like that in the world, right? People
Mhm.
who are meant to help you, be there for you, to support you, to facilitate what, like, to properly, positively support you and help you grow into a better human, to make the world a better place, but, just don't.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think Vanessa being highly aware and on edge for Bullseye because she double crossed them.
Mhm.
And I like that, it's like this woman who has status still fears the exposed window,
Mhm.
right? Who is having nightmares of this man hunting her down because he's free and he was this close to killing her husband, right?
Yeah.
So I like it shows that, like with Fisk in the first episode, there's always going to be someone just a bit more powerful than you on your ass.
Yeah.
And to marry that with Fisk wanting to extend his overreach over way more than just New York, right? And also, obviously, he knows about the multiverse. Everyone knows about the multiverse. Everyone knows about the aliens. Everybody knows. It's like, how far can my power, my ego extend, right? How much of this, like, old Napoleon complex can I exert over other people?
Mhm.
And it's not gonna it's he's a man that it's never enough. It's not gonna stop. It's not gonna stop. It's
Yeah.
not. And it's very interesting to watch that him and Vanessa were apart for so long. She did the damn thing, right? He's back and now he's taken over. He's got more shine on them and their activities, trying to play it smart, trying to play it cool, and now it's just like, yeah, you know what? I don't always want to live my life on the edge like this, and I would like to just retire after all the bad shit that I've done, like most bad guys. I want to retire to my island where I'm safe and protected, and I don't got to worry about some fucking assassin coming for me or vigilantes coming for my husband or him stoking the fires and having to answer to higher up government people. I don't
Mhm.
like, it's always like that's a trope that happens with a lot of like power couples. There's usually always one that wants out eventually, who wants more for their life, and then their partner's just like, but this is what I got, man. This
Yeah.
is this is this is what I want. And them coming to a head of how do we go forward in our relationship with
Mhm.
this with our diverging viewpoints of what we want in life. So yeah, I think for a second episode is it was good. I was also thinking, like, because Matt Daredevil makes an appearance in She-Hulk, just how brightly lit that show also takes place like in California, so it's very bright, very sunny, very warm weather and all that stuff. To me, there's quite a bit of serious content in it, but when I think about visual storytelling, the use of light, the use of background, of scenery, of location, just like with Wonder Man, it's like this expansive world that's happening there in California. To when I look at Daredevil and just also thinking about just the many sides of Matt Murdock jumping between the two shows and Spider-Man, of course.
Mhm.
Just how confined a lot of Daredevil is, just how dark and heavy and oppressive Daredevil is, how they use the um, gritty streets of New York to really tell part of the story of what's happening there. I think with the BB report, it is like that fake facade of look at how bright, shiny, and happy we are, kind of like them over there in California, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is what you want to see. This is the life you want to live. There's nothing going on over here, and then it, shoots to what's actually happening: garbage piling up, graffiti everywhere, people's lives in a constant state of danger. No one is actually safe, like ICE, like police, they're running up into small businesses and just arresting people. Um, it's to me, you haven't seen She-Hulk, but in my brain it's just very very fascinating to see. And then because we also got Kamala Khan's dad in the first season of Daredevil, and how Miss Marvel takes place in Jersey City, also just the color choices and the lighting choices for those shows being so intertwined and close together. Sorry, my like I think a lot about this. It's the same thing with comic books, right? If you want to tell a Batman story, you use a specific color palette. If you want to tell a Superman story, depending on the day, use a specific color palette. You want to tell a Wonder Woman story, look at the mascara. It's a Paradise Island, right? Sunshine, good weather, trees, advanced tech, warriors everywhere, animals running free. And then you look at Gotham, it's just like, oh God,
Yeah,
like that's just, I think it's very
darker, muted colors. Yeah,
yeah, I think that's also very important to note when we're looking at all of this as a whole and when we start introducing other characters as the season goes on, that are part of the MCU as a whole. Yeah.
yeah. Last thing for me to add on would be the stuff going on with BB, um,
Mm.
and our deputy mayor. Yeah, he's heading down a slippery slope, which is gonna. I can see him getting himself killed before the end of the season, or at the end of the season. I think his the clock is running, hot for him, and it's it's either that or something with BB. Obviously, is gonna end up happening. They're on a collision course, and the deeper BB continues to take these attacks on fists, the more it's gonna get homeboy into hot water. And look, he got the hots for her, but at the same time, this is he made it. He's afraid, right? And he has a right to be afraid because for him, it's he's being questioned. Well, what if the rumors are true and all these other things, right? For him, this is just a job, but now he hasn't seen the true ugly side of fists for the most part,
But
where
yeah,
he
he
hasn't
doesn't
seen
like
he hasn't seen him
it's
kill
like
anybody.
physically seen it, but he knows. And
No,
him as a
not yet. He hasn't seen anybody die. He doesn't know the
yeah, yeah,
kingpin.
like physically, that's
Yeah,
what I mean. Yeah, he hasn't seen it physically, but it's like you know what
yeah.
the fuck is going on. Yeah.
It's one of those things to you have an idea of what could be going on, but until you see it with your
Mm,
own eyes,
yeah.
and you start seeing the actual dead bodies, like you don't believe anything. You can't because there's no proof. But
Right.
it's one of those things where just the demeanor of the person slash like, all right, these trails and these rumors are going on and whatnot. He doesn't know anything particularly about past Kingpin, and can only go off of the things that honestly, like with the context right now, no one really knows
I mean,
except for Matt.
well,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, no one I mean, but people
yeah,
were aware of what Kingpin was doing. Like
mhm,
his people knew what Kingpin was doing. But like you said, it is
yeah,
different seeing it than being aware of it. Yeah.
yeah, because the biggest things, like for instance with Sheila, right?
Hmm.
She didn't know what was going to be the cost of her actions. Now she actually sees them. And that's what I'm saying. Like there's the people who are in the know, right? Buck, Vanessa, these people who have their hands in the cookie jar where death and other people's lives are being ruined, right? That's the Buck, that's the Sheila. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
the Buck, that's the well, now Sheila, and whatnot. That's what I'm saying. This the deputy mayor dude is nowhere near that. Like
But
even
with him and Sheila, it's very much feign ignorance is bliss. If I can continue to ignore the bad I know he's doing, then it's fine if I get my up. If I could think I could push them, Kingpin
mhm.
into, making the city better or elevating my status in some way, I could ignore the part that I play in the harm that he causes to everyone.
Yes, but all right. So let me frame it like this, right? When the big point I'm making is that Sheila up until now and Deputy Mayor, right? From what we've seen and from what all the context is given to us, they're the only ones that have not seen this Vanessa kill people. Period.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the distinction I'm making right now. Um, when BB is like, aren't you afraid of the rumors? Aren't you afraid of him? Like I'm putting more stock into that because you have characters who obviously work for people like Fist. They hear rumors that Fist is a terrible man. Have never seen Fist do terrible things, right? All they can do is just rely and just hear about the rumors, but until they physically, with their own two eyes, see that they have killed people, then it is literally business as usual.
I mean, yeah, but I think that's also giving them a bit of a cop out when you looking at it that way because you know, you live in New York, you see what the task force is doing. Just because you don't see the task force killing people, you know that they're overextending their power. It's like you know the brutality of that situation. And if you are afraid, that means you have an idea of what this man and the people around him can do. So
And
it's
that's
like you said,
a
it's
to me that's a big step. Like if I'm going by characterization, it's a big step to just assume and go about assuming what other people are saying to then seeing that person actually doing it.
well, yeah, no,
Even if the
there is
rumors
a
are, yeah, that's why I'm going with the just the character work and how I would do it because I'm not interjecting like what they have actually done. Like we, the viewer, right, and are viewing it, and we see obviously Fist is doing all these things, right. However, there's the characters who once again, like I said, are in the know, and the characters who are not in the know. So if they can, even if it
right.
wouldn't be feigning, ignorance. It will be feigning ignorance is if they saw Fist do it and then they want to hide that they know Fist is doing something because they saw Fist actually kill people. Because we're watching another series where that actually happened, where you would say Nikaido and Kaiman, where Kaiman thought that he was told that Kaido's a sorcerer and he feigned ignorance, and all the way until it was time for like that truth to come out and that same but all those
But yeah,
same
but there's a
things.
difference in
Yes.
that relationship versus this relationship. Nikaido, it's not like Nikaido was using her. Sorry, guys,
Mhm.
Dorohedoro. It's not
Yeah.
like Nikaido was using her sorcerer abilities while she was in the hole. She only
Mhm.
started using her sorcerer abilities until the point where it had to come up to save Kaiman. And then
Yes,
Kaiman was just
they're
like,
the
okay,
same.
well, we hate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
The reason why
but
yeah, so you understand the reason why I'm categorizing as the same is I cannot with full confidence 100% say that all right, because Fist is doing all this bad stuff, right, from what people are saying, right, in quotation marks. I myself have not seen Fist do these bad things that he's been accused for, and I'm working at this job because Fist is showing me a different side than what other people in the media are saying, right? And
I
so
mean,
that
but
is
is he showing them a different side if they're afraid of him? That means they
no,
are aware of what he can do to them.
that no. All right, so and that's what I don't want to make that assumption. Or as looking at that character, you can't make that assumption. That's what I'm saying. Like as a viewer, you can't make that assumption because
What do
until
but they're
yeah,
showing how afraid they are by the actions they take when they're in the room with him and the intimidation that he exerts in the room when speaking to them. Like that hand on the shoulder when he's
yes,
just
the
like,
hand on the
good
shoulder.
answer. It's like if you had answered differently, you know this would have ended
Yeah,
differently.
you could be fired. Yes.
Yeah, I
He
don't
no,
I
no,
think
yeah,
I
because
honestly
you
think
yeah.
it feels like it feels like, like when you say that the paper pushers of a regime aren't
Mhm.
as bad as the people who are shooting the guns, you signed the warrants, you signed the paperwork, you filed that stuff, you're just as in the wrong of you have a part to play in the grander evil of the regime that you're helping
I
facilitate.
think
It's
you're there. All right. So what you're saying is you're making a different point than what I'm stating. More so, what I'm stating is currently with where the character work is at, with where the story is at, our deputy mayor, right? is under the impression that Fist isn't a bad guy. This,
I think
but
it's that male thing of I want to be just like him, and this is the guy that gave me an opportunity. So if he can do what he does, and he sees that
mhm.
potential in me, let me ride along. That's what that is. It's not.
I don't think that's no. To me, it's all right. So what I'm trying to say, where, because you're pushing back against the notion that it's this all right. This is the fact that I see. Deputy Mayor believes Fist is not doing anything wrong. Is that true or false right now? Because that's where we're at right
I
now.
mean, just because you believe someone isn't doing anything wrong doesn't mean that they're not doing
All
anything
right, all right.
wrong,
Hold on,
and you
hold on.
have to lie to yourself. Like that's what it. That's
All
what
right.
it. That's
No,
what I'm
no,
seeing
no.
with him.
All right,
Like
all
I
right.
see what you're saying, but I
Yeah, yeah.
think, like I said, I think you're giving him too much grace. Just because
No,
he sees his mentor not doing anything wrong doesn't mean he doesn't actually know in the back of his mind
we
that
can't. All
he's
right, all
not
right, all
that
right.
he's
That
doing
we
wrong
we can't. All
things.
right, look, because that we talked about we talk about that like about stuff online as well. Right now, with where the story is at, we can only say that he believes Fist has done nothing wrong up until right now, until this point. That is the only thing we can say.
Sure,
We cannot say
sure.
that we cannot say things that have not happened for this character yet. And the reason why I'm saying that is because he's saying everything he's doing right now is he doesn't want BB to he's this is the first time he's saying it now, right? And this is why I'm saying this is very important that we don't diverge or from what is currently going on. As of this episode, this is the first time he has said that, hey BB, I need you to stop fucking around because first time around, whenever we had these conversations, you almost got me fired, and I didn't like how you did me wrong the last time. So, and then BB lied by saying that, look, why would I do this to you again? Obviously, we know now BB is the person behind the Kingpin mask, right? So this time around, he's like, look, BB, if you're doing this, it's not that I want you to come forward. I just want you to stop. It's a very big difference now because that's what prompts BB to ask, wait, are you now afraid of, fists? Are you do you now think about the rumors and whatnot? Which is a question that wasn't answered. So that's what I'm saying. Up until this point, everything about this deputy mayor, they were all rumors. Like people getting like if everything dealing with fists, he has no prior knowledge to. Same thing with Sheila. Even Sheila, he's an opposing man. Rumors are still rumors until you see it happen in front of you. So that's why I'm like with these two characters, they're the only ones who are not in the known of people dying, right? That's only Buck, Vanessa, and of course Fist himself. Sheila, we'll look through the pages. We don't know how far she got into it, but we know from context that that other dude is dead, right? And it's because
Mhm,
of what Sheila did, right? Whereas for Deputy Mayor, he was living a high life. Last episode,
mhm,
he's partying it up and everything. Now he has all these things that's going on with, BB, running these smear campaigns against Fists. Now it's more, all right, hey, my job is on the line. But what is this person like saying about Fists that, hey, you know what? Maybe I should. He didn't even think that in the beginning. He was just like, yeah, I'm not going to really bring it up to Fists because, once again, he's only doing it as rumors. Sheila was like, hey, this is something that you need to bring to Fists before it becomes a bigger issue. And you can see how he was like, yeah, but these things aren't really true. They're rumors. Everybody's saying about it. And that's why I'm saying that this man does not think at all, does not care at all. Like he just said he just sees Fists as this guy could do no wrong. It isn't
mhm,
until Sheila's like, hey, bring it up. Because if he brings it up, it's gonna be trouble. That's because Sheila is becoming
mhm,
more in the know. Now it gets
mhm,
brought up to him, and now he's like, all right, why does it feel that more than my job is in jeopardy? Because
mhm,
of like these smear campaigns. It's like Fisk cares a little bit too much about this, right? And in the back of his mind now, like, because that's why he immediately goes to BB to say that, hey, the only other people who are in this, like, even what you call it, when Fisk asks, do you have anybody else to protect? His first thing is, yeah, I gotta protect you. He's not gonna say I gotta protect BB, even though that's the first person he went to go right after that meeting. So that's why I was like, up until this exact point, Fisk was knight in shining armor. He saw nothing bad, and every other conversation that has happened with Fisk, whether it was Matt talking about it and whatnot, that dude has discarded it. Now there's the cracks in the veil, and but it's still at the point where, all right, the rumors, right, which is what BB brings up to him, he never really thought about them at all, but he's now telling BB, hey, stop, not stop, and let me give your name over to Fisk. It's just stop, because if you don't stop, now I fear that something bad may happen to you. Not I fear that I'm just gonna lose my job. No, I fear something bad is gonna happen to you, because now BB is like, well, if those rumors are true, then the person that you've been idolizing, all of that becomes, complicated, which is why I said that now he's going to be on the path to dying at the end of this. I don't see him living at the end of this.
I
Yeah, that's
understand your
yeah.
point of view in your perspective on the characters. I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
That's where I
No.
was. That's where I was like getting to, because like where the evolution for his character was, hey, this is a job, and I'm going to become big time shot, which is what you said whenever, or is either you or I can't remember, BB. Well, we talked about whenever he says like deputy mayor, there's
He
of media,
leaves out of
yeah,
communications. Yep.
communications, right? But in his mind, hey man, I've made it. I'm gonna be just like this man. Now, oh fuck. If these people, if what everybody's been saying is true, now it's gonna be looking at all the damage that he has been a part of, and all the hurt and pain that he's been a part of. Like everything is gonna start to fall out. That's what Sheila's already been feeling. And I look at remember, he took Sheila's job essentially, and now the role that Sheila was essentially supposed to be in, this is what he's going to be going through. And Sheila's already at that level of becoming in the known, and now Sheila's already have blood on her hands without even knowing it. So it's gonna come to the point where, like, either he's gonna have blood on his hands because he's gonna be asked to get rid of the situation, and now that puts him into a situation where he's never like been confronted with, and now he has to come. All that reality comes crashing down, which is why I was just like, for him, this whole idea that Fisk is perfect is about to come crashing down. So that's what I wanted to note, especially because
Okay.
BB has unveiled herself as being, the person behind the Kingpin, and he has the hots for BB, but now it's gonna come my career, or this girl that I like, that I've become even more enamored with, because hey, if all these rumors are true, this man might kill her or ask me to kill her. And that is the newer conundrum that I was like looking at bubbling, because BB obviously has been talking to Karen, and there's obvious resentment. She knows the truth about what happened with her father, right? Uncle. And so now with all that building up, that's a crisis ready to serve, and that's why I'm like, it doesn't look good for this boy.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah,
I get you. I get what you're saying. I get
yeah,
what you're saying. I have a clear but a clear and better
yeah,
understanding of your POV and perspective on the characters and your
yeah.
take on them. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's more so like I was like saying that, because it's sooner rather than later the rubber is gonna meet the road for him, and that's why he's eventually going to fall into all those things. And it's one of those things where, because there's a lot of people who work for bad people but don't know it yet, and then they're only thinking about, all right, well, this is just my job and I need to get paid, I need to make all this money, and then they start hearing all these things about the people that they're working for, and they're like, "Nah, I can't be that because they only show me their good side. So you guys are crazy."
Mhm.
Then you start
Mhm.
seeing more and more of that bad side that people have been talking
Mhm.
about, but you still don't have the solid proof. I think
Right.
we are only a few episodes away from that solid proof that's gonna make him say, "Fuck me," like
Right.
because
Right. Right.
yeah,
Right. Right.
because now I'm into this, and I know BB is also like at in danger. How much do I actually like her, and how much do I want to keep my job, and how much do I want to keep my life? Because those are three different things: my life, my
Mm.
job, and the girl that I like. You know, because the people would be like, "Well, you can always get another girl, you can always get another job, you cannot get another life." So
Mm.
which one's going to matter more, for him down the line? And then how much of it is he going to be one of those self-sacrificing
Which
characters,
is
or yeah.
Which is I like that you brought that aspect up because we're seeing that with a lot of the characters at play here. How
Hmm.
much is my life and my standing and my safety more important than the shit that's going on around me?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the vigilantes, taking care of your community, talking about the boys in the bodega, how much is my life and what I want more important than everything else that's going on? Yep.
Yeah, because those
Yep.
boys in the bodega, they ain't give a fuck about what's going on
No.
in the world. They're just like, yo, I'm gonna steal this.
Mm.
And the other person, you're cramping my style. They're like, "Oh, grandma, yo, mind your business." And then the gun gets pulled on
Mhm.
them, and now their life is in danger, and they
Yep.
immediately it's faced with consequences. But the guy who bore the two people who bore the consequences was the bodega owner and the mother, right? No,
Yeah.
her
Tia,
aunt.
that's her aunt.
Aunt, yes, and the aunt. All the children, they ain't getting in trouble at all.
Mhm.
And the actions of those consequences is starting to come up, because that's why I'm looking at this dude. He's seeing everything that the fake kingpin is writing,
Nice,
and
nice circle
yeah,
back. Nice circle back, show and
yeah.
Mike. Nice circle back. Nice,
Yeah,
nice, nice,
yeah,
nice.
because
Yes.
like he's seeing all of this and these reports, and it's now making him think, okay, all right, yeah, you know what, this is annoying, right? But I don't think like Fist. There's so many other things that he needs to think about. This isn't gonna be what's gonna set him off.
Right,
But you have
right.
Sheila that just slides it in and says, "Yo, you need to talk to him." He's like, "Man, director, I'm deputy mayor of communications. We'll get to the bottom of it. Fisk got other problems."
Mhm.
All right, Fisk says, "Hey, yo, you doing your job, right?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm doing my job." Yes, what the fuck is this? And it's like, oh, and then
Mhm.
you see his response wasn't that. His response was immediately, "Oh shit, yeah, I was gonna bring it to you." But Fisk is pushing him on this, like, "All right, your
Mhm.
life depends on it." So he was like, "All right, well, this is slander. Like other mayors have been slandered before, but why is it this like more so pressing that I need to get to the bottom of it, and that you're threatening me
Mhm.
with, you said like if you betray me, I told you what I would do to you." Like,
Yeah.
wait, like why is it this pushing the buttons? And then when when BB is like doubling down on, "You're afraid of him," well, now he has a reason to be afraid, because beforehand
Yeah.
everything was all fine and dandy. He has the house, which Fist, if I remember carefully, Fist doesn't
Chris
know
owns the
he
apartment,
owns the apartment, but I don't think Fist knows that he was doing those
the
parties,
parties.
right? Yeah,
Mhm.
because it's optics, right? At the end of the day, with Fist, and Fist hates when he looks bad. So this will be another thing, a cherry in the cap, if Fist finds out about these parties too,
Right.
and that's another thing that's been making Fist look bad. And so now that he already knows that Fist hates looking bad, he goes to BB, says, "Hey, you need to stop this, because Fist wants names, and this he ain't trying to give the name up right now that we
Yeah.
see." So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that was the part that like I was looking at to say that was like more like interesting,
Mhm.
yeah, because
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
it
Mhm.
was it was really subtle. That's But I was just like thinking about it a little bit deeper, because I'm just like, all right, but yeah, I this is setting this man up on the path to die in the near
Mhm.
future, because his idol is gonna be like, what I was gonna relate it to is just like the Penguin, bro. Like the other person about to get
Yeah.
snuffed out.
Yeah. Yep, my boy.
Yeah, Vic. About
Uh,
the
Kid just trying to get by. Kid just trying to get
yeah.
by.
And I was just thinking about Vic, and I'm just like, when you said this man's head's about, when we saw this man crush somebody else's head in um last season. I
Yep.
mean, if deputy deputy, I said deputy, well, yeah, deputy dude gets his head crushed. Damn. Yeah.
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 Yep. Okay.
Yep. So
Yep.
yeah,
Yep. All right. We
that was
still
my
got one
little,
more
yeah,
episode
still one
this
more
week.
episode.
So
Yeah, that was
yep.
my little soliloquy on that. Folks, we'll catch you guys for episode 3 pretty soon. So stay tuned, and we'll catch you guys next time. I already know. Hostess.